What's going on, you guys? Hope you are having an awesome weekend. This week, we are going to chat a little bit about the difference between motivation and discipline, why we really need to focus on that discipline piece and not so much on that motivation. And then we'll talk about the 5x5 that everyone starts on. So that's a 5 minutes of meditation, 5 minutes of gratitude, 5 minutes of soft tissue work. So the difference between motivation and discipline, as you can see here, is that motivation comes from the natural human drive to achieve something. Motivation doesn't last forever, no matter how much you want something. It's going to be a temporary effect created by the brain to boost you in the right direction. So this motivation is typically what gets us going in the direction of something. Oftentimes when we're looking at the health picture here, it's that we get sick, we put on enough weight, and somebody says something, we just get tired of looking at ourselves in the mirror. We go for a doctor's checkup and we get some blood work or something done, and there's a marker that's found that says, hey, you're now officially pre-diabetic or something like that. So there's something that's hits that tipping point for us, tends to have an emotional aspect to it that makes us get really motivated to make that change, which is great. That gets us headed in that right direction. But motivation is, I always explain it to people as kind of like a roller coaster. So it's going to continually go up and down like this for us. And that's not great when we are looking for those long-term changes. We need to have a nice, steady, consistent line there. So that's where the discipline piece comes in, which is basically that ability to continue to push in the right direction when you no longer have that motivation going for you. So discipline is far more important than motivation. And you shouldn't rely on the motivation only. So motivation can be great. We definitely ride those highs and let that really push us in the direction we want to go. But when motivation is low, that's when we really need our discipline principles to step in and take over for us. So discipline, creating habits, and routine is really important because it helps when that motivation isn't there for us. It keeps us on track. So that's why we start with that 5 minutes of meditation, 5 minutes of gratitude, 5 minutes of soft tissue work. That combination of those is really good. That meditation really helps with stress and kind of ground us out and give us time to just sit and be still in such a busy world. The 5 minutes of gratitude, we tend to, as a whole, be focused on the negative side of things. So we start to shift that towards the more positive side, having more positive mindset around everything. You can always find good in every situation. So that's where that gratitude piece comes in. End of the day or start of the day, whichever one you do it, gives you a chance to think about that day or the prior day and just start to say, like, what am I grateful for in this moment? And journaling that, physically writing it down, or just spending time thinking about that's really important to make that mindset shift towards a more positive state. And then lastly, we got that 5 minutes of soft tissue work, whether that's foam rolling, stretching, mobility, yoga, whatever you guys want that to be. That's up to you, whatever works best for you. But what we want that 5 minutes of soft tissue for is it can really help downregulate our system, and we always have sore spots that need to be worked on that we don't give that time and attention that they need to. So this is a really good way to get that into there. And what it does is it's at 15 minutes, which is such a small chunk of your day, and it's really because we break it down into 5-minute chunks too. You get to knock off a couple different aspects of stuff that we are looking to change within that. But it's still such a small period of your day so that it's a starting point of where we can start to put habits and routines in. It's not to say, hey, this is what you want to stick with forever, but it's a really good starting point that you can build off there. Like a lot of people, I'll get them building towards taking a cold shower if they have any difficulty waking up in the morning, if there's any depression or anything like that sitting around. Those are great to have in there. Or for some people, it's having a nighttime routine and really putting that into play so that we have that discipline in the evening so that we're getting to bed on time, getting enough rest so that we're coming at the next day in as good a position as possible. So this is just our starting point for that routine, that discipline, that kind of stuff. And then we really want to just continue to build off of that. Another big aspect I find to that discipline is that when you do have an off day, that you get right back on it right away instead of letting it sit on you for the rest of the week or multiple weeks, whatever it is. It's that discipline to be like, hey, yesterday wasn't great. It didn't go how I wanted to. but I can get back on track. Let's make tomorrow better. So that's what I wanted to chat with you guys about this week is that idea of motivation versus discipline. Motivation is great, don't get me wrong, but we really want to start to build this discipline side of things for us. That's where we get that long-term change, is when we start to build those practices into our life and have it something that we're going to do every single day, no matter what. So take that into consideration when you're doing your 5x5, you guys, and start to think about some of those principles.